So wonderful to see everyone here and also online. If you've heard us before, you probably know that we really love designing thematic programs. And so the theme, as you have probably already guessed, of this program is dance. And there are many, many lovely pieces that were written for cello and piano and also transcribed for cello and piano in the dance music. But we decided in this program that we're going to share with you to focus on waltzes and folk dances and Latin American dances. We like to, for each piece, think of a artistic either painting or image that captures the piece for us. And so over there on the TV monitor and I believe also online, you'll see the images of those. And so we'll start with waltzes and three different pieces. And they come from the same general geographic region, but each is quite different from the other and kind of has a unique twist on the basic waltz itself, which is kind of why we decided to choose them. So the first piece is Tchaikovsky's Waltz Sentimental Waltz, which he wrote in 1882. And unlike a traditional waltz, which is meant to be danced to and is fairly straightforward, it's meant to be played in a sentimental way with her body and taking time and that kind of thing. And so for that piece, we chose Kandinsky's Several Circles as the painting to accompany the piece because we found this interesting quote by Kandinsky where he said that the circle is the synthesis of the greatest of oppositions, combining the concentric and the eccentric in a single form and in equilibrium. And we kind of felt that sort of mirrored Tchaikovsky's waltz in the sense that it combines the form of the waltz, but with the push and pull of the tempo and dynamic mood of the players that are playing the piece. And so we'll segue directly from that into another piece that is very different. It is Waltz Number 2, written by Soviet composer Dmitri Shostakovich, and he wrote it in 1956. It's in C minor with kind of frequent excursions into the relative major, which is E flat, and it has a kind of a march-like quality despite being a waltz, so that kind of makes it sort of unsettling in that juxtaposition. You've probably heard it before because it was made very famous by being adapted to several movies, including Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, as well as the television series House of Cards. And for that piece, we chose French painter Felix Vieton's La Valse to accompany that piece. And then we'll end the waltz section that will segue directly into a very different waltz by Ukrainian composer Nikolai Kapustin. And he passed away actually in 2020 at the age of 82. And while he lived most of his life under Soviet Russia, he developed a love of American jazz, and he's actually known for fusing classical form and jazz form, and I think you'll hear that in this piece. Unlike a conventional waltz, it's actually written a lot of it in 5/4 rather than 3/4, maybe hence his tongue-in-cheek nearly waltz. And for this piece, we'll return to Kandinsky and his composition 8, because the kinetic energy reminded us of nearly waltz. And we'd also like to dedicate this piece in particular to everyone in Ukraine and our hopes and prayers for peace there.
We turn to folk dances in our next section with Bartok's suite of the Romanian folk dances. Bartok was born in Hungary in an area now is part of the Romania. He was a composer, pianist, and an ethnomusicologist. Indeed, oh yes. Sure. Okay. Should I lift it up? Okay. All right. So in between 1909 to 1914, Bartok took many trips to the Transylvanian region of the Romania, where he recorded and transcribed music of the local Romanian population, eventually preserving over 3,500 Romanian folk tunes. And he used 7 of these folk melodies to create his Romania dances, which he wrote between 1915 to 1917. So the first stick dance is a solo dance for a man, which involves holding a stick as a prop, and ends, according to Bartok, with the man kicking the room ceiling. And the second is waist dance or sash dance, in which a circle dancers dance holding each other's hand by hold onto each other by the belts. And on the spot is the third dance. It's a dance in which the participants stand in one spot, dancing their feet to the rhythm. The fourth dance is an Asian dance melody with Arabian colors. And the fifth one is the Romanian polka, which is a children's dance that changes meters from 2/4 to 3/4 throughout the music. And the final dance is the fast dance, and is a combination of 2 dances in which couple dance with tiny fast steps, and is considered a courting dance. The painting we chose to accompany his folk dances is Barn Dance in Ananawasa, Romania by Theodor Arman, a 19th century Romanian artist who helped found the Bucharest National University of Arts and was its first director. dedicate to, oh, I'm sorry. So next we dedicate our next section to the Latin American dance. We begin with the dancers Latin Americanas, composed by Jose Elizondo. Born in Mexico, Jose received degrees in music and electrical engineering from MIT and studied music and conducting at Harvard University. He lives in the Boston area and worked as both a composer and as an engineer in the field of speech recognition technology and artificial intelligence. His work have been performed all over the world, including commissioned pieces by cellist Yo-Yo Ma and Carlos Prieto. His dances, Latino Americanas, is a suite of dance in 3 movements. The first is based on a tango dance from Argentina, particularly influenced by Piazzolla's work as well as those of Carlos Gardel. The second, the Sugarloaf Mountain, is a tribute to the bossa nova style in Brazil, which stem from the samba dance rhythm. And the third, Sunset in Guadalajara, was inspired by Mexican folk dance music and mariachi band music and is tribute to his homeland. Jose kindly allowed us to use the 3 images he chose for some recent recordings of the dances. About these choices, he said, I've always envisioned a couple dancing for movement 1 and 3, but never for movement 2. For that one, I envisioned the actual Sugarloaf Mountain in Brazil.
our final piece is Astor Piazzolla's La Gran Tango. So Piazzolla was an Argentinian composer, and he was very famous for his tangos, and in particular famous for incorporating jazz and classical style into his into tangos. He was born in Argentina, as I mentioned, but he actually grew up for a lot of his childhood in New York City, I think, which is probably where he was exposed to jazz, you know, at an early age. He composed La Gran Tango in 1982. It was premiered in New Orleans. And he uses the primary rhythm of the tango, and the cello kind of forms the dramatic twists and turns of the dance itself with glissandi and kind of syncopation flourishes, and it has three main parts. The first part is kind of this sort of alternates rhythmic, sort of passionate passages with more lyric and sultry sections, and then the second is a more lyrical and melodic kind of playful section. Then the third one is this exciting rhythmic finale that incorporates a lot of jazz elements in the piano in particular, and then lots of fun glissandi and quirky rhythms in the cello. And so for this piece, we chose Vera Rockline's Tango Dancers. Thank you.